The Awareness 360 is where we interrogate reality beyond the headlines. And today, we take on one of the most complex and polarizing questions in modern African discourse. And that is Henry Okah a symbol of resistance against systemic injustice or a central figure in violent militancy whose actions demand accountability? And more importantly, when narrative collides like this, how do we define justice? To put a little more context, the Niger Delta has generated millions and billions of oil wealth, yet remains marked by environmental degradation and inequality. Reports from the World Bank and Amnesty International point to long-standing governance failures, conditions often cited as drivers of militancy. Now, joining us is our co-host, our honorable guest, Dr. Nengi James, OON. Dr. Nengi James is the lead campaigner for the release of Henry Okah. Also, he was one of the aspirants in the recent Ijaw National Congress presidential race and a well-respected traditional ruler. He is also a founder of the Nengi James Foundation and former leader within the Ijaw Youth Council. He continues to advocate for environmental justice and inclusion. Again, I say welcome, Dr. James, to the Awareness 360.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Jumbo, for bringing me into this awareness program.
Wonderful. Well, it's great to have you. So can you tell us a little bit about who Henry Okah is?
Henry Okah is a Nigerian born Amasoma from Late Alamesia, and his family is right there. Even as at last weekend, I was there for a burial. I saw some of the family members. He is from Bayelsa State, specifically Amasoma town in Nigeria, and is based in South Africa. Is based in South Africa for his livelihood and for job. He has been there, very resourceful person, and he has been doing well, and is taking care of every one of them. We know about the plight of the family now since he was incarcerated in South Africa.
Okay, all right. And let me ask you, so your advocacy suggests a very high level of conviction. And what specific moment or evidence moved you from being an observer to active?
The issue, Charles Okah. Yeah, he was leader of MEND, being and his followers environmental injustice and both environmental and social injustice in the Niger Delta terrain.
Mm-hmm. What I asked you, maybe you didn't hear me, is that your advocacy has to suggest that you moved to a level of conviction. What specific moment or evidence moved you from being just an observer to active campaigner for his release?
The Boko Haram SWAT issue. Several persons have been killed in different parts of Nigeria. As I'm talking, I think 2/3 of the killings is more than what happened is people have been abducted, including women and children. And these are what is happening in Nigerian state, which is more than what they are refer to Henry Okah issue. Even in Abuja, as I'm talking to you, I left Abuja 2 days ago, just a day ago, back to Bayelsa State, where I held a press conference on the release of Okah. It has become necessary to request that Okah was among those that ought to be released. Because the Nigerian government, led by Tinubu, recently released several people. And now as we are talking about 700 Boko Haram fighters, we are radicalized and integrated into Nigerian state. And just today, I read that even among those that we are released was involved in armed robbery. And these are the things that we need to seek Nigerian state to have Okah also be released. If about 700 persons from the other side of Nigerian state is being released, this is just one man who is in South Africa. And is it because he's from the Niger Delta? And he was having a good fight, not just the fight they are doing. The fight he was doing, the struggle he was doing is for the emancipation, the freedom of his people, the injustice of the people, the environmental degradation. As I bet you, they are enjoying from part of his fight. Production is getting high because of the same people that work with him that is now protecting the oil pipelines. The same main official. So he also made peace, and there is amnesty here. So why, when they are doing what he started, he is being incarcerated? Why other people are de-radicalized and integrated into the Nigerian state, who have killed more people, and more are being killed, and they are being pampered by the Nigerian government because of fear of political gambling.
So let me ask you a quick one, just a follow-up. So are you saying because the Nigerian government is releasing the Boko Haram folks, that's why you jumped into being an active campaigner for his release?
Definitely. I think that is what triggered me, engineered me to do what I'm doing, because when you see over 700, they have done that earlier before, and now just a week ago, about 700 persons. So among the 700, how many do we have that was incarcerated, and the number of killings? So that motivates me to do so. Another issue is the recent release and pardon of several Nigerians, even including politicians, who have impoverished people, who have corrupt situation, that was incarcerated, that have made people, so many people have gone to the grave because of their looting the Nigerian state. They were all released. Even some persons that were in the murder list and others, we are released. So these two issues, and because Okah is a resourceful person, he was doing his advocacy, his style of doing what he's doing best to promote and project and defend his people in Nigerian state, Niger Delta. So I'm triggered to do so, to bring people to plea for Mr. President. We can't force him. Pardon is a plea. So we are saying that we need the support of everyone outside there to support the release of Henry Okah. After all, since 2012 till now, he's more than about 15 years in the prisons. And it's very remote to be released. So I'm suggesting that people like you, other media personnel in the outside Nigerian state, should help us to see that the South African president is being diplomatically taken care of this matter. At least we will urge the Attorney General of Nigeria and the Mr. President to have a diplomatic channel with the South African state.
So let me also ask you another question. Many people only know his name, right, in connection with militancy. What would he say are the critical parts of his life story? Do you believe that have been omitted, either deliberately or totally ignored? What do you think? What is your take on that?
Yes, because of the way the main issue came about, most people do not know the Henry Okah is a very industrious man, and he has been very resourceful in South Africa. He has never involved in any issue of criminality in South Africa. He has been doing law-abiding situation, working and doing what is right and obeying South Africa law. But what connects him, because he felt the plight of his people in the Niger Delta, especially the Niger enclave, is suffering from the deprivation, from the oil production, that they are not even getting what they ought to get in dollar. The petrodollar crude oil and gas, which is now the black gold, is now being sold daily and making money. But the people are in abject poverty and brutish. That lured him to assist some persons for advocacy, for every necessary things to be done, so that their voices will be heard, their situation will be heard.
Right.
So that the man Okah is a very industrious man. Even the South African government is aware. They did not arrest him because of any violation of any South African law. It was because of the Abuja incident that the Charles Okah and others, Obina, was involved. That is also not even true if investigating. It is some persons who felt that if Henry Okah is being held or jailed, that there will be mild situation of the Niger Delta matter. That will now inform you of Ken Saro-Wiwa issue, where Abacha thought that if Ken Saro-Wiwa and his persons are killed, definitely the situation of Niger Delta, Ogoni people requesting for freedom will come to pass. But it has now created a worse situation. We never knew that it is more grievous of what Abacha was. If Abacha was alive, we would have regretted.
So what you're describing is quite interesting. You're saying anyone that sort of rises up to say and kind of firmly discuss about the injustice that is happening in the Niger Delta area, right? Then it looks like people who are in power come after them.
Yes, exactly. You know, we have got Nigerian state, when we started Kayama Declaration, the Nigerian state was afraid and they introduced what we call Operation Kakuri. Operation Kakuri is a military operation that need to protect the oil pipeline. But bet you, from Operation Kakuri to Operation Puloshev to Operation Niger Delta Safe, now Operation Niger Delta Sanity, and others. All these operations they declared was not helping matter. Rather, the same our own people, we are now employed as contractors to save the situation. So that will now inform you that the Nigerian government is only interested on getting what they want as production of increase of oil and gas. But they are not interested on your livelihood.
Yes.
So when your environment is getting spoiled or your people are getting dying, it's not their concern. All what they concern is to exchange receipts with buyers of crude oil and getting Abuja and Lagos getting skyscrapers.
But what you're saying that you do believe that his identity has been defined more by geopolitical narrative than actually the viable fact, right? And and people are benefiting from framing, his kind of person.
People have already benefited, including the federal government is benefiting from it. Because they felt that it will be an obstacle to them. Instead of handling the Ijaw question, instead of handling the Niger Delta question on environmental degradation, environmental matters, they are only after those who are now talking strong and advocating strong on it. That is why I relate the issue of Ken Saro-Wiwa. We will start with either King Koko, who was confronting the white people of those days, and King Jaja. It moved to palm oil again, to oil again. Then you see that Adakaboro was also on the same issue. And now anybody that is now oil and gas belongs to them, but the gold in Zamfara belongs to them. That is what we are after. Zamfara. What is hearing about Boko is the gold and shares are now covering the process of taking those issues. I think that is what is happening. Nobody shares gold that is being produced. So these are part of.
So do you believe that your campaign might unintentionally downplay serious allegations that is tied to his name? This is the Awareness 360 on the AdieTalk Radio. And today we are talking with the lead campaigner for the plea or the pardon plea for Henry Okah release. He's been jailed in South Africa due to some instances. And we have Dr. Nengi James, OAN, who has joined us all the way from Nigeria. All right, Dr. James, we are going to move a little ahead. Let me ask you, to what extent do you believe that Niger Delta crisis is a failure of governance, or to what extent is it a failure of global economic system that extract wealth without even, accountability?
The Delta crisis matter. Look at what is happening in the Nigerian state of Boko Haram. How many years that we cannot even sort out the issue of insecurity? Insecurity has been a great problem in Nigeria. And the economy of Nigeria is only after people, when you want to maybe political selective people. If we are fighting corruption from the streets of my house, there is already, you have started seeing corruption. So if we are fighting corruption, Nigeria would have been better. And all of us goes to church every day. As soon as we leave the church and we leave the mosque, we begin to steal money from our treasury. So the leadership problem, and what we are seeing is that everybody is interested on the crude oil money and crude oil and gas money. Who you put there do not care for the people. Nobody cares for anybody. Health paralyzing. Every area is paralyzing, including healthcare, agriculture. The basic thing that we need to enjoy is healthcare and agriculture and good roads.
Right.
But look, you cannot travel from the south to the north. Before you come to return, you cannot be healthy for 1 week.
Right.
I travel on air, but for about 4 or 5 years, I have not tried the road because I'm 6'4". By the time I try it, I get to my house, I will sick for 1 week.
Wow.
So that is the bad situation in the Nigerian situation. It's
Wow.
leadership.
Wow.
Niger Delta have no problem. If the leadership is right, the people in Niger Delta should be applauding the federal government. But because of the military-like junk leadership style, no true federalism, no physical federalism, and money are being just taken, and the entire structure of the Nigerian state leadership is a military-like situation. What they refer to unitary federalism, Agbada in military.
Right.
That is the situation.
All right. Let me bring Robinson, to this talk. Robinson, do you have anything to add to, any question for him?
Yes. The thing is, most of us did not really know who Henry Okah was until men came up. A lot of people never knew he was even from Amasoma, from Bayelsa, or what he does for a living until the 2007, 2009 drama. So right now, the question I would want to ask Dr. Nengi is, are the Ijo people really behind Henry Okah, or have they forgotten him? Because it doesn't seem like the Ijo people embrace who Henry Okah really is or what he stood for.
Or even the Niger Delta in general. That also include the Ijo, right?
Is he there with us?
I'm with you. I'm hearing you.
Niger
If you have
Delta
ended
in general.
the question, I'm right here to answer
governors, you. The governors, yes. The Niger Delta in general. The Ijo people are spread across the Niger Delta.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, please answer, sir. Thank you very much.
Yes. You are aware that the Nigerian state basic thing that is now turning around Nigerian state is politics. And most of them, because of the political situation and the tentacles they are afraid that they don't want to hurt anyone, especially the politicians.
Oh, wow.
And it is only a few people who believe on the just struggle, who are still believing that the just question have not been answered by the world, by Nigerian state, can vociferously answer you this. Because if you tie this thing with most of our leaders, they will not put their neck because they want to be governor, they want to be chairman, they want to be senator, they don't want to be House of Reps members. So they don't want to hurt anyone. So based on that, it ought to be a systematical, psychospiritual, and legalistic affair. That is why some of us are now saying that we cannot allow, look, a German not a loss forever like that. We cannot allow Henry Okah to remain in that way. We must come out and speak. We must voice our voices out to the world that one of us was a resourceful man, was well doing in South Africa, a Nigerian-born, a Masoma-born man who is from Nigeria and Niger land. After all, Ike Wanshuku is also suffering in the same way, like a similar way. He is also a Nigerian. So we are not saying that the position Ike Wanshuku was having was even greater than Henry Okah. We are now saying,
But so, let me ask you though, because I'm really surprised that this situation, except I'm not getting it. Henry Okah crime was basically in Abuja, correct?
Yes.
And now he was jailed in South Africa. Is that correct?
South Africa.
Yes.
And what is the relation to that? If the crime was actually in Abuja, why did the Nigerian government decided to jail him? Right. So why do you think they did that? I mean, why?
Yeah.
That's a huge question that any lawyer can argue for. And why is the lawyers not arguing for that?
Yeah, you are aware that jurisdictional issue is very important.
Right.
And when you have committed offense in a particular place,
right,
and you ought to be tried in that environment. And this one now will tell you that invisible hands was at work. That is the word I will use. Invisible hand was at work. How did Kano came to Nigeria? It was an invisible hand at work. That's why the Kenyan authority is questioning the issue. So when invisible hands is at work and the government begin to play pranks with their citizens, undermining their citizens abroad, this is what you expect to see. If not, even in small Nigeria, they will talk about jurisdictional matter.
Right.
It happens in Abuja. He is making his living in South Africa because his younger brother Charles Okah and one Obina that was alleged. Now you link it to he that is in South Africa. How was the link there? You understand? So you are very right. And that is why we are saying that it was a political motivated or a wish hunting of Henry Okah. That is why we are asking that the Nigerian government to rethink, reconsider, and give him a pardon. After all, he has been jailed on an offense. You remember recently in US, somebody was jailed innocently for years. After thought the person came up, they came up that he was wrongly jailed. These are part of the issue. Somebody in South Africa doing his living, he never traveled to Nigeria. Now you link him up because of what the local palace in our street called bad belaism.
Wow. So then another question that kind of follow with my first one is, usually when you go through this trial, right, there's a case of appealing the case. Why did the lawyers, or he didn't have any lawyer, he stood for himself? Why did the lawyers?
Yeah, he had a lawyer.
Why did the lawyer not appeal the case?
I'm aware. I was following up the case. The lawyer appealed the case, and they lost the appeal too, because invisible hand is at work. You know, in Nigeria, you are hearing what is happening. They can send so much money to go and lobby for a bad thing that is happening in Nigeria. That is how Nigeria is. They can spend so much dollars to go because of credibility and integrity to make sure you are a bad person, to hide your files, to hide your identity. They can go as far as UK and US to make sure lobbies are paid to make sure your files are hidden, your certificates of school is in blunder. You know how Nigerians do. So that is what really, for me, I observe. Because the Nigerian state believes that Henry Okah, the leader of MEND, is a security risk. So therefore, we should put him behind the bar to enable us get our crude get going and increased so that they will continue to feed fat. I think that is the only thing. The Nigerian government is interested to talk with South Africa president, jail this man in any means.
Wow.
Because he is our problem. He's a security risk because he's leader of MEND. He controls militants. And it is militants that are now in amnesty and enjoying. That will tell you the invisible hand at work.
Okay, so let me ask you another question again, which is kind of interesting that all this is happening
But they
to
are
Henry
supporting
Okah.
me. Any moment from now, they are going to be in press conference with.
Well, that is where I'm actually going. Is that if in fact Henry Okah, from what you're saying here, was actually fighting for the injustice
to come
right?
out and join me and join others. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I'm hearing you.
Okay.
Yeah, loud and clear.
All right. So I'm asking that if in fact Henry Okah was actually fighting for the injustice for his people, which is the Niger Delta region, right? Why is all the Niger Delta not behind him? For over, I think he said 13 years now in jail, right? Being treated unjustly and even in jail in South Africa. Why have they kept quiet? I mean, the whole Niger Delta kept quiet until you started this campaign.
Yes, that's the same thing I was trying to get from him. And just like he said, there's a fear. There's a fear that you'll be targeted, and no one wants to be a target. No one wants their name to be associated with an appeal for a plea or pardon for Henry Okah. He said that.
But I don't understand how. Let me ask you. I don't understand how.
Higher political
right.
office.
Right. But
I want to be governors.
Right. But I don't understand how somebody will be afraid. Right. If it's a collective effort, is the Nigerian government going to arrest all Niger Delta people? I mean, that is something that it will be very difficult for the Nigerian government to do that. If all the sons and daughters of Niger Delta are behind this guy, how would Nigerian governance, or government, how would they just come after everybody? Is it bad?
I would even
okay.
I think
bad. Okay. Did he hear us?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay.
You see, I have also earlier answered part of this.
It looks like you're going to find on that place again to move. You got to continue to move around. That is how we find ourselves.
Yeah.
It's a moving game, man.
So I think to a large extent, the Nigerian state thought taking that the Niger Delta will become. I think that is what you are saying, but it didn't come. It's a decade issue.
No, not come in the sense. Why are the Niger Delta people quiet? If one of their sons, who is fighting for injustice, why would they not continue to fight for him every day?
Your guess is good as mine because of the stomach infrastructure and the political interference in the issues. I think that goes a long way to inform you that many of us now, when we started the struggle earlier, when I was a young boy, we started. Hello?
Go ahead.
The political interference in the Niger Delta struggle is getting more and more interesting. So because of that, the issue of self-determination and good governance is being tampered. And because everybody is now on bureaucracy and stomach infrastructure.
Right.
You understand what I'm talking?
Right. Okay. Yeah. All right. So
most of us are now. Yeah.
all right. So just hang on a minute. We have a caller who is going to introduce himself. He's on the phone, and he said he was very much instrumental in the Henry Okah movement. So let him introduce himself and tell us a little bit what he wants to say. Please go ahead.
Okay, I'm Edmond Epiwari Opori. I was also arrested, sentenced for life for 14 years, the same issue as an accessory to a treason.
Wow.
I was arrested, I was jailed for 14 years. I just came out, I was pardoned by Mr. President, the former President Buhari.
Okay.
In 2024, I was released when my pardon was ratified by the president of Nigeria, Bola Tinubu. So all along, Henry Okah was a victim of political manipulation by the former president of Nigeria, Goodluck Jonathan's administration.
What?
Everything is
By the
criminalized.
former president, Goodluck Jonathan's
No,
administration.
let me hear that again. Did you say by the former president Goodluck Jonathan?
Yes, Goodluck Jonathan. Yes, let us say it direct because I was involved. I was a victim. I was a victim. So everything that happened in this case was politically motivated by the Nigerian government in South Africa. That was a case where Nigerian government sent envoys to South Africa to witness and influence the court in South Africa under Jacob Zuma. It was a collaboration between the South African government and the Nigerian government. This is something they said this incident happened in Nigeria. Are they not supposed to bring him to Nigeria?
Right.
They did not.
I just asked that.
And nobody. They used me as an accessory to treason. And later the same trial judge, quashed the treason in 2017. That he said that there was no treason. So how will you now, to tell you how complicated this issue is, to tell you how the kind of justice they pushed out on us. Just the meted injustice on us. We suffered it all. They said there was treason. But at the end, the same judge that said there was treason later came back to quash the treason that there was no treason.
Wow.
So me, I was sentenced for as an accessory to treason. So how can you now sentence me as an accessory to nothing? That was how the federal government under Buhari now became perplexed about the whole thing. It was confusing, so they understood everything and said they should let me go.
So let me ask you, so why are they not also applying the same thing for Henry Okah?
Yes, like my senior comrade has rightly said, they are afraid of the truth. They are afraid of Henry Okah for just no reason. Keeping him there will even cause more problems to Niger Delta. In fact, Niger Delta right now is sitting on a keg of gunpowder. Whether they like it or not, there's no peace in Niger Delta. They just want divide and rule. They want to divide and rule us. They are using this political manipulation to manipulate the minds of people. If you talk, you will lose political relevance. That's why many people cannot talk. And because our people are ill-advised, they are afraid for nothing, they are not talking for him. But you cannot try that to the East. You can't try that with the East. Look at Nnamdi Kanu. People are talking. Even the governors are going there. But our governors cannot come out for our own people. So we are just facing, we cannot rely on them. Because they are there for their selfish interests. They are not there for the people. This is what we are suffering. And Charles Okah, the elder brother to Henry Okah, was also jailed, life sentence.
Wow.
Without enough evidence. And if you go to the appeal court, people will be asking, what about the appeal court? My people, there's nothing like justice in Nigeria under this the Goodluck Jonathan government in this case.
Wow.
In this case.
But it's quite interesting that it is President Goodluck Jonathan, who happens to be an Niger man.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was deceived.
He was
It was
deceived.
even some disgruntled, some jealous so-called ex-militants that ganged up to give him that impression that Henry Okah is his enemy.
Okay, so let me ask. So now you said that he was deceived, and you or Dr. James can answer this question. He said, President Goodluck Jonathan was deceived. Now that he knew and knows that he was deceived, what has he said? What is he saying?
That is why there is this advocacy for the freedom of Henry Okah campaign group. We are advocating. In due time, we will meet with him to give him the confidence. And redirect it so that he can redirect his steps to also be part of this movement, because nobody's flawless. Everybody, we are all full of flaws.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
We are not against him.
Right.
He's our brother. You understand? But because of the petty-mindedness of some of these ex-militants, they wanted this. How will I put it? They wanted some government patronage, stipends. Because of stipends, because of patronage, they sold out one of them.
Wow.
That was what happened.
So
Because
this is very similar to what is in the Bible in the case of Joseph being sold, by his brothers, according to the story.
Exactly. That's why I continue to quote the Bible.
For resource control. He told us, if you are giving out 2 AK-47 in this amnesty, that means one bridge will be built in Niger Delta. 2 AK-47 for one bridge in Niger Delta. With that, we'll have development. But these people went for their selfish gains because they gave them cars, gave them money. That was what happened. He was sold out. He was betrayed. I weep for the John Nation. I weep for Niger Delta because they don't know the truth. That's why we are still suffering till today. We have been marginalized till today. We are not getting anything. Those that are having a federal government appointment, they are just there without political power. They are just there. Call the minister. The minister cannot act. He's just there.
Wow.
Niger Delta region, Niger Delta ministry is not even working.
Wow.
These are the things we are talking, because you have sold your pride, you have sold yourself, and you cannot retrace your steps because you have already made a mistake. That is what is happening.
Wow.
That is what. So I'm pleading to people like you to carry this message far and wide. We are appealing for this present government to open a diplomatic channel with the South African government to see that Henry Okah regains his freedom. Henry Okah coming out is not going to cause any problem than to strengthen the peace in Niger Delta.
Robinson, do you have any question for him?
Yes. My single question would be, these ex-militants we're talking about, they were the ones who claim. Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Do you hear him?
I can't hear. I'm not hearing.
Can you hear me?
No, I'm not hearing clearly.
Maybe it's your network again.
If you are, can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you, but I cannot hear him.
All right, so ask your question and I will rephrase it for him.
Okay, these same ex-militants we're talking about, all their names were listed as people who were part of the men, who were regional leaders of men, and they said he was the leader. Why were they not part of the case that took him to court? If he is in court for being the leader of men that orchestrated all those attacks,
right?
The members of the regional lieutenants who were accused of the attacks and the bombs. Why were they not involved in the trial, in the case itself?
Let me rephrase it to him. Can you hear me? Okay, so his question is that if they claim that Henry Okah, right, is the leader of these militants in the Niger Delta, how come he's the only one, right, that have been jailed, while some of them are there parading the street?
Is that the question?
Yes. If in fact they claim that, he's their leader, then there are many other militants that are out there.
Okay, you see, in a group, in a struggle, in a group, in a struggle, not everybody has the discipline. And not everybody have the same focus. Yes. Some persons, their focus and their discipline is higher than others. So some people, they are there for their selfish interest, to use it, trade for money, for their selfish interest. While others is for the altruistic interest of the region. Henry Okah was for the altruistic interest of the region, not his selfish interest.
Wow.
So you can see the difference. So most of them now, they went for their selfish interest. That was why it was easy for them, to betray him. Sometimes you'll be leading people, not knowing that the people, their mindset is not with you.
Wow.
So they traded our struggle out. Most of them traded our struggle out. The struggle, they traded with it. That was what happened.
Wow.
So it is very good. The government will be very happy to see that you are trading the man with a disciplined mindset about the struggle. So that was what happened.
Wow.
Yes, that was what happened.
Wow. But in the case of the South African judiciary process, right? I mean, are they not supposed to be fair, be transparent, right? In terms of, holding this particular individual under the international law?
Evidence.
Are they not supposed to be fair?
Yes, they are supposed to be fair, although I cannot answer such questions meant for them. But all I know, what happened to Jacob Zuma when he left office? Didn't he tested the prisons too?
Right.
To tell you it's corrupt. To tell you money exchange hands.
Wow.
That was what happened. When he left, he was also taken to the prison.
To also add to this, you remember when money we are taking to South Africa?
Go ahead, Dr. Nengi, we're hearing you.
Yeah, to add to, as an addendum, to add to what he's saying, you remember the same Goodluck Jonathan time, a aircraft belonging to a church was used to South Africa with money, cash, claiming to buy arms.
I think if I remember that case, that was in the case of is it Ayo or Jofaso or something like that. It's not that particular individual.
That is to tell you the same South Africa government as what Diwari have told you. These African states are corrupt. So African leaders can work together in a corrupt situation. That is what we are saying. So the entire judiciary system in Africa is one-man business. The president dictates for the presidential issues on that matter. We are saying that the South Africa at that time was led by a corrupt president, liaising with a corrupt state and a corrupt people.
Wow.
So the scenario is the issue of arm buying. The Nigerian government now puts cash in dollars in evangelistic aircraft that is meant to go and do evangelism,
right,
and divert the aircraft to South Africa.
Wow.
And when they were caught, you remember that they said they were in South Africa to buy arms.
Right.
That now revealed to you that African states are corrupt. Apart from a few of them. And that was the same government that give opportunity to jail our brother. But now we are not after that. The deeds have been done.
Right.
It's our brother to us.
Hello?
You think that even in US, people
back.
we are wrongly sentenced. And people
Hello?
admitted it. So
Hello?
that is our mission.
I'm sorry. May I know who is calling?
Okay, sir. Now the hello,
Right,
can you hear me?
Yes. Hold on. Yeah. Go ahead, Robinson. We also have another call on the line that wants to.
Okay, let's have the caller contribute.
Okay. All right.
Let me allow it.
Okay.
I can hear you.
All right. So, caller, please introduce yourself and make your comment.
Yes. Good evening, listeners. My name is Dakosta Adowe.
I am currently doing some legal work for Henry Okah.
Okay.
So I have permission to say some things or contribute to the current discussion.
Please go ahead. Yes.
Right now.
Yes.
So one thing I want to state very clearly, and I'm sure some people, Professor Jumbo, you asked a very, very pertinent question. About the issue of what the law says regarding his. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
Yeah. So you asked a question about, why is Nigeria or how was Henry Okah convicted in South Africa when the scene of the crime?
It's in Nigeria, Abuja. Mm-hmm.
You remember you asked that question?
Yes, I did. I'm still not getting any real answer on that.
So this is what is happening. This is what is going on. So that incident that happened in Nigeria, Okah should not really be tried in South Africa.
Of course.
Not minding the fact that he resides in South Africa, the scene of the crime was in Nigeria.
Exactly.
You understand? The scene of the crime was in Nigeria.
Yes.
So even though Nigeria recognizes terrorism as a crime, Nigerian law does not permit extraterritorial trials of Nigerians for offenses committed within Nigeria's exclusive territorial jurisdiction. So what that means is this: the crime in question was committed in Nigeria, not South Africa.
Right.
Henry Okah is a Nigerian.
Right.
Living in South Africa. Nigerian law does not permit Henry Okah to be tried in South Africa. You understand me? So Nigeria notified South Africa they were not interested in, in his extradition back to Nigeria. In other words, Nigeria did not see any problem with it. Nigeria didn't see the fact that a crime has been committed. So what South Africa and Nigeria agreed on 8th of February 2011 was that the said crimes that were committed within the context of an armed conflict. And as defined, and you already referred to it, as defined in international humanitarian law.
Right.
And for that reason, Henry Okah could not be tried in Nigeria. He could not be tried in South Africa. The only place Henry Okah could have been tried was the ICC. Do you understand me?
Yes.
So what is going on right now is a far cry from what the law should be. So when South Africa realized that they were not in good stead legally, they started playing to the gallery and they started messing up the case. They know from the president, and I'm sure, what's my brother's name? So, by the way, I am an Ijoman also.
Okay.
I am also, apart from the fact that I'm a lawyer involved in this matter, I am also a bona fide Ijoma. But you understand?
Yeah.
I'm an Ijoma. You understand?
Yeah.
I am from the Niger Delta, the Joy Extract, especially from the Ubijo Isaba. So I am involved. I'm interested in this matter, not just from the legal point or legal perspective, but also as a son of the soil.
Right.
Okay. So what I'm trying to say simply is this: South Africa has no jurisdiction to try Henry Okah.
Wow.
Nigeria does not have jurisdiction to try Henry Okah. Why? Because both South Africa and Nigeria have agreed that what is happening to Henry Okah is ill, and those around him involved in this matter, the conflict falls within an armed conflict under international humanitarian law. And so Nigeria cannot try him. And that is why Henry Okah's case is unique. Unique in the sense that I appreciate what my brothers are doing.
Right.
Nengi and the other brother that spoke, what's his name?
Ibiwari. I think Ibiwari.
I've spoken to Ibiwari before. Ibiwari should remember.
Okay.
So the point we're making is that all of these activities, all of these efforts, all of this, campaign and vanguard, it's a brilliant idea. And as brilliant as it sounds and as they appear, Henry Okah has not been convicted by any Nigerian court.
Wow.
And as a result, Henry Okah himself is not asking for pardon because he has not committed any crime according not to Nigerian law. Do you understand me?
Right.
His trial was in breach and is currently in breach of Nigerian law and South African law.
Wow.
Under international humanitarian law. So his imprisonment is unlawful and unconstitutional, both under the South African law. For example, Section 35(2)(d) of the South African Constitution.
Right. Yeah, we're hearing you.
States that, can you hear me?
Yes, we're hearing you. Go ahead.
It is a non-derogable right that Henry Okah should have access to the courts under the doctrine of the writ of habeas corpus. And habeas corpus is a writ or a form of procedure which compels the courts to proceed to produce somebody who they have imprisoned to show cause that the imprisonment is in order. And guess what? The South African judiciary has consistently refused to present Henry Okah before their constitutional court. Because they know if they do that, in spite of all the gerrymandering, all the corruption, and all the legal madness that is involved in this matter, not all those justices in the constitutional court will agree that Henry Okah is being legally held.
Wow. So let me ask you, you knowing this and you're the legal person, what can be done? Now I'm hearing you saying that Henry Okah is not asking for pardon because he has not committed any crime. So how can he get out of jail if it's not through pardon?
Good. Thank you very much for that great question. And you have to understand this, like I explained before, the pardon my brothers are pursuing or campaigning, you only pardon somebody who has committed a crime. Right. Do you understand me? So answering your question is that Henry Okah has continually filed to the Constitutional Court in South Africa for the court and the justice system to show that they are holding Okah legally. But you know what? They have refused to present him. You cannot file a habeas corpus writ and not present the prisoner, so-called, before the court. The prisoner must appear in person.
Right.
They have played all sorts of tricks and games to make sure he does not appear in person in that court. Because they know the day that happens, some, if not most of the justices will agree with Henry Okah that he is being illegally held. And that is his case. His case is that he cannot ask for pardon in South Africa because they have sentenced him to 24 years. Okay? But after sentencing somebody to a term of years, that person, in this case now, Henry Okah, is filing that writ of habeas corpus.
Right.
To say, you know what, you have sentenced me, you are holding me in prison, please come and show cause to the Constitutional Court that you are holding me illegally. But they cannot do that because they know they are holding him illegally.
But but let me ask you though. Yeah.
Professor Jumbo,
yeah.
I am wearing two hats. My first hat is the legal hat.
Right.
As a lawyer.
Right.
As somebody representing Okah.
Right.
The second hat I'm wearing, the second and the most powerful hat I'm wearing is that I am a minister of the gospel. And I believe in fairness. And I believe in justice.
Right.
And I've seen that this man has something to offer, not just to the Niger Delta, but also to Nigeria. And I want to speak as that minister, that all those who are involved in his incarceration, they should remember that a day of reckoning is coming. A day of reckoning. And let me tell you something. There are people who have bound themselves with a cause to see that Henry Okah does not see an open heaven. He does not see freedom. But they are not gone. They are not gone.
Right.
Because they know that there is a God who lives in heaven and who is interested in the affairs of men. And that God is watching.
Right.
And that God will show up. In fact, that God is showing up. All that is happening right now, all that this campaign is pushing for and getting people to be interested in Henry Okah is because God is stirring the water. And I tell you, there are people who don't want to see Henry Okah leave, but they will see him free.
Wow.
One day he will be free, and he will become free sooner rather than later.
Well, we pray that one day is tomorrow.
I'll give you a short story. There is a story in the Bible, in the book of Acts, Acts chapter 23, and many of us know Paul the Apostle. Paul was somebody who was a minister of the gospel, who was a servant of God. But because he was such a very powerful spiritual person,
right,
and he was against the system, like Henry Okah is against the system, there were people who had bound, about 20 people, they had bound themselves with the cause. They said, this guy must die, and if this guy does not die, we will not eat. They declared a fast to say, you know what, we will not eat until this guy dies. But guess what? Nobody told them to call up their fast, because God was interested in not only Paul to leave, but for Paul to appear before the king.
Right.
You understand me?
Right.
So all of this they are doing, they are wasting their time. They cannot kill him. They will not kill him. He will come out. He will be free. But, like I said, legally speaking, Henry Okah is not asking for a pardon from the Nigerian government, even from the South African government. But what he's saying is that let us go all the hog legally. Present me before the constitutional justices and let the government and the judiciary in South Africa show cause that they are holding me legally, which they are not.
Okay.
Thank you, brother.
Well, our listeners, you're hearing this is a very crucial and tough conversation, and we hope that you're getting the gist and you're part of this conversation. This is the Awareness 360 on the AdieTalk Radio. As you know, we have great speakers that have joined us this afternoon or this evening or night, wherever you may be listening from. And we are talking about a pardon for Henry Okah. And we have our doctor, Nengi James, in the house. And we're also fortunate enough to also have one of the person that was also jailed but was pardoned based on talks that was between the Nigerian government and South Africa during the time of Buhari. So he was released, and you heard him loud and clear. And now we're so fortunate enough to have his lawyer, right, joining us to kind of paint this story and make it very clear. And he has said here, loud and clear, that Henry Okah is not asking for pardon because he never committed any crime. In order for you to ask for pardon and accept that, it means that you committed the crime. You basically agree to the crime, right? However, he's not also advocating for the group who took it upon themselves to advocate on behalf of Henry Okah. So we are here. I think we have about 20 more minutes to get this done. All right. And I'm going to quickly ask the lawyer who has joined us to tell us a little more, because he has said here that there's always a repercussion in everything that we do. But the question here is, how do we get Henry Okah out of prison? So please, how do we get him out of prison?
Thank you very much, Professor Jumbo. Thank you so much for your expertise and your approach. Now, like I said, apart from the fact that I do legal work for Henry, as a German, I'm also involved in, the campaign to get him free.
Right.
And to that regard, to that effect, sometime last year, the Ijaw Nation wrote a letter, which I instigated by me, started by me actually, like a campaign.
Mm.
And I remember some kings in the Ijaw nation.
Okay.
The INC, the INF, the Ijaw Nation Forum.
Okay.
From the INC. The INC is the political wing of the Ijaw nation.
Okay.
So the INF is a forum, mostly online, where top Ijaw sons and daughters belong to that forum. Sometime last year, somebody introduced Okah to me. Of course, as a Nigerian, you must have heard of Henry Okah's story, his, vanguard, his campaign, the Niger Delta, and his activism and all of that. So that's out there. But I was not involved personally until someone introduced Henry Okah to me, a friend of mine and a former classmate who is Henry Okah's friend.
Okay.
And she knows I'm a lawyer, and she said, Da Costa, would you want to, take up this matter? I live in the UK. I live in London.
Okay.
I moved to the UK from Nigeria as a student, and my family is now here. So he said, would you be interested? I said, why not? So he put me in touch with Henry Okah, and we started talking, and, exchanging information, paperwork. And I said, you know what? I mean, so two things I have done. And of course, you don't do these things in isolation. You can't do these things as a person.
Right.
You need others to do it with you. So I wrote a letter, got the INF, got people to belong to support that letter. And the letter was like a plea to the South African government to release Okah forthwith, because we felt he had not committed any crime. As I explained to you, you heard my case, you heard the situation. You can see it is clear. The South African government, no. That's why the Nigerian government, this current government, has nothing to do with Henry Okah. They don't have anything against him.
But it's still a continuity, right? Yes, even though they don't, right?
Yes, I agree with you. Yes, that's right. So we wrote that letter, and one of our brothers, in the person of Kabowe, went to South Africa to deliver that letter. Okay. And many people signed that letter. Nengi James signed that. Many people signed that letter.
Okay.
Many Ijaw sons and daughters signed that letter. And when that letter got to South Africa, they knew the Ijaw nation was ready. We were ready for something. We were ready for a fight.
Okay.
And we said, you know what? Release our son to us. Because they do not have any ground to hold Henry Okah.
Right.
It took them months. From October, November, December, January. It was only sometime in March
of this year.
Acknowledged that letter online. Although when the letter was handed over to them in the presidential villa, took it and they said, we're going to hear from them. We had nothing from them until recently.
Wow. So
why am I saying all of this? I'm saying all of this because, I remember your colleague was Akbu, I think was asking Nengi James or whoever that what is the Ijaw nation doing?
Right.
We're doing something. Of course, there are powers that be
they're doing. I hear you that the Ijaw nation is doing something. I tell you this: it's until I'm also an Ijaw person, by the way, very proud one. Right. I'm living here in the United States. Okay, New York precisely. It is until our Dr. Nengi James, started posting the picture that I, in particular, got to really know that the Ijaw people are behind our brother. I know that when the case happened, I probably was young, but, if it's really in the spotlight, why are we not hearing about this case? Like, it should be in the spotlight.
I agree with you. Now, let me chip in here. Until some people, I don't want to take credit for anything because, like I said, no man is an island. You cannot fight. You can't fight alone.
Right.
Until people like us and some other people, Nengi James and what's my other brother's name? What's his name? The old one that was
Robinson.
No.
Oh, Ibiwari.
Ibiwari, yeah.
Yes.
Ibiwari. Until people like Ibiwari and Nengi James and myself and some other, other Ijaw sons and daughters stepped into the ring of the fight, Henry has been fighting alone.
Wow. All alone.
He's fighting alone.
Gee.
But he's no longer fighting alone today.
That's correct.
He's no longer fighting alone. Professor Jumbo of AdieTalk is also fighting in his corner.
That's right.
Nengi James fighting in his corner. Da Costa Adoe, a barrister, is also fighting in his corner. Ibiwari and Co. is fighting in his corner. There are many secret disciples of Henry who are fighting in his corner, but they are not coming out to make their voice known. And Nengi James, Dr. Nengi James explained the reason why that is the case.
No, I think that reason has to stop. We need to come out collectively.
I like it.
Collectively, all right? Collectively.
And the media must play a role in such things.
Well, that's what we're speaking on top of our voices right now, all the way from New York.
Yeah. If you write 50 letters, they will tell you it lost on transit. They will keep your.
But anyway, I think there's a very interesting text that I got. Let me read it. Maybe that will give us some insights. This is from our brother Isaac T. He said, "It's about time to escalate this Henry Okah's case to the White House. President Donald Trump should get into this case that would force the corrupt system in South Africa to let go of Okah. Ibiwari had spoken well as a victim in some allegation. Ibiwari was jailed for over 12 years alongside Charles Okah in Nigeria. I'm glad he is out, a free man, and I'm proud of his advocacy for the remaining people in jail, especially the Okah brothers." So what do we say to that? I mean, it's about time to fight together. And I asked this question before, that where is the Ijaw nation? Where is the Niger Delta coming together as people?
And let me tell you this. Let me tell you something, Professor Jumbo.
Yes.
Do you know that the Ijaw nation will not have peace until we right the wrong that the Okah brothers and some other people like him are suffering? The Ijaw nation will not. The Ijaw nation will not see peace. They don't understand. They will not see. The Ijaw nation will not see peace until what is happening to Henry Okah is a reflection of what is happening to Nigeria.
Wow.
Nigeria is a failed state. There are people. I wrote an article that I published in the Ijaw Nation Forum some weeks ago, and I said the criminals have taken over the asylum. When the criminals take over the asylum, there will be no justice for the inmates. It's not going to happen. When those who are running the system, all the electioneering process is corrupt. Everything is monetized. Everything is based on money. The criminals are in charge. But remember, justice, God is interested in justice. The Bible says righteousness and justice are the foundation of his throne. So what does that mean? That means that God is watching, and I tell you, until those powerful players, so-called, I don't want to mention names, because all these people, they just have breath. They don't keep themselves. They need to breathe to live. If you need to breathe to live, then you are nothing. You are just a breath. You do not hold your life. So if you think you have been the governor before, or you have been one person, the president general of one thing, and you think you can hold somebody, and you want to play God to people's life or someone's life, watch it. The sword of Damocles will fall. It's just a matter of time. And when it falls, all eyes will behold it. And I said before that I am wearing two hats. the legal heart and the spiritual heart.
Mm.
And the spiritual heart that I wear is saying it is time for the Okah brothers to be free. The Jaw Nation should better rise up and right this wrong. Otherwise, we will just end up continuously chasing our tails. We'll go around in circles. Do you know that even in the Jaw Nation today, there are people who are scavenging to survive? They have oil wells around them. They have oil flowing around them, but they are struggling to survive. But there are others who so-called, they are floating and swimming in money. And these are the things people like Henry Okah and, our brothers who are campaigning are trying to right this wrong.
Right. All right. I understand that. But let me ask you, let's focus on the campaign, right? What concrete milestone would you say that this campaign has achieved so far? And what is the biggest part of your obstacle that you face?
You see, the milestone for me, as far as I can see, like I told you, I only came into this campaign last year. And so far, I can see that people are getting interested in the Okah brothers. They are getting interested in Henry Okah because many people never knew him.
Right.
This is somebody who fought he fought for the Jaw Nation under men and brought our struggles to limelight. And all of a sudden, he's forgotten and abandoned. But gradually, that consciousness is coming back. It's coming back. The greatest obstacle I have encountered and noticed is that many of our Jaw brothers are cowards.
Wow.
They are cowards. Many of them are cowards.
Just like that.
Like a lion.
Authoritatively.
Like a lion.
Wow.
But many of them are cowards. They are just.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness. Wow. All right. So other than the Jaw people or many of them being cowards, what about the diplomatic engagement? What are some of the international advocacy, and especially given that you're a lawyer, we hope that you will be able to direct Henry in the right direction. What are some of those diplomatic engagement and international advocacy channels?
If I tell you advocacy work and consultations, letters I have made, in consultation, conjunction with Henry and other people. There are people, like I told you, there are many secret disciples. But for some reasons, genuinely so, they cannot speak out their heads for now. But there are people who are fighting Henry's corner. There are people. We are the few people who people see. Maybe I write a letter, Nengi James gives a press conference, Ebiwari does his videos. Ebiwari has since he came out of prison, Ebiwari has been very pivotal in this campaign. Right.
So we don't have much time. I'm going to quickly ask some of these questions. Thank you for joining us. And any of you can answer. If this campaign is successful, right, what precedent would this set for similar cases globally? Because I'm sure there are many other that we don't know.
Well, I know my brothers will have something to say, but because I am in the heat of the struggle and the campaign, as a people, we are in chains. As a people, the Jaw Nation is in chains. We are in chains. But for those who are political, who are children or people are interested in politics, it was Montesquieu who said, "Man is born free, but everywhere in chains." We appear free as a people, but the Jaw Nation, we look like a conquered people currently.
Wow.
That's why I said that many of us are cowards.
Wow. Wow.
Do you know that some people cannot speak over this Henry Okah matter? Because why? They are afraid.
Wow.
They are conquered. But like somebody said, he said the Jaw people have never been conquered.
Wow.
Go to history, Jada Popobo. Isaac Boro. We have never been conquered. We have never, and we will not be conquered.
So now that you said that, though, what does this case reveal about, not just the Ijaw, but the African political struggles? How are these interpreted globally? How are they seeing that this case, this kind of ways that, and actions that we take, how are these interpreted globally?
Do you know the most painful thing about this whole thing? The most painful thing about this whole campaign and struggle and this Henry Okah's predicament is the fact that South Africa that fought apartheid,
right?
It's that same South Africa that is doing meting out to Henry Okah what they themselves encountered, what they themselves fought. The ANC under Mandela fought the white supremacists for years.
Right.
Fought apartheid and got freedom. But look at South Africa today. It's a shame. In fact, I wrote what's it called, a petition that I published globally. And you need to see what people are saying about South Africa. It's a shame.
Wow.
But it's just a matter of time. Time will tell. And all those in government in South Africa today, the ANC, who are, dealing with our brother, they will come to their knees and they will receive in their own coin what they are giving to our brother.
Okay.
And other Africans.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Well, Dr. Nengi James, do you have a final word? We've come to an end of the show.
My final word is that...
now they are seizing his final words. We can't hear you.
Story they have raised on and on.
Okay.
It has become the political interference on the Ijaw Niger Delta struggle and the merchandising of the Ijaw. A few voices are saying something, and you are not part of that system that have taken part the process. They look down on you and underestimate you.
Wow.
But thank God some of us have struggled, and the merchandising of the Ijaw.
He's gone again.
Criminals are now based on that. Even a few voices are saying something, and you are not part of that system that have taken part the process. They look down on you and underestimate you.
Wow.
But thank God some of us are still alive, that we are tutored and mentored and schooled and trained by that prayer and Clark, that we have been prayed for, will continue the just struggle. Whether we talk, we die.
Right.
We don't talk, we die.
We still die, right? Oh, according to Wiki, all die and I die. All right.
Oh my God.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and our wonderful listeners across the world. Well, today's conversation reminds us that truth is really one dimensional, right? But between justice and accountability, between resistance and consequences, lies a space where societies must confront themselves honestly. And I'll stop here. Thank you for joining us on today's conversation regarding pardon plea on Henry Okah. Joining us today by wonderful host and co-host. My name is Adi Jumbo, and my co-host on this show today is Dr. James, Dr. Nengi James. Let me not mess up your name. Dr. Nengi James, who has joined us. And we're also kind enough to also have Henry Okah's lawyer join us as well on this show. We also had the other brother, Ibiwari, who was also jailed on this same case and was pardoned by President Buhari. So the plea by Dr. Nengi James is to the President of the Republic of Nigeria, saying that, pardon this man. He has a family, he has loved ones, and he's a person. And we hope that you're hearing the plea. Yes, you may say that you are not part of the conviction, but you have the power, just as you have also been pardoning the Boko Harams and so on. So we're also praying that you're going to extend the same pardon to Henry Okah and others who have been jailed because of this case, especially the fact that Henry Okah, right, was jailed in South Africa, whereas the crime was committed in Abuja, Nigeria. Shouldn't that crime, right, be tried in Nigeria? You think about it. Hopefully you're hearing us, or you will hear us. We pray that you use your judgment, especially coming that your campaign is that you're going to provide, leadership and truth to all. So we pray that you're going to do what is right for Henry Okah and his family. I also say that it is time for the Ijaw Nation, the Niger Delta, everyone to stand together, not in silo. You have to work collectively to make this work. Let our brother be free. And again, this is the Awareness 360 show on AdieTalk Radio. And I am Professor Adibonye Jumbo. And this is AdieTalk Radio, your stories, your sound. And thank you for being with us and tuning in with us. We also want to let you know that this is the number one Pan-Africa radio across the world. We tackle critical and serious issues. All right? So listen to us. We're here 24 hours. If you have cases, if you have anything that we need to bring to the world's attention, we are positioned in the world, the capital of the world is called the New York State. All right? So we are here. All right? And here, our freedom, our speech, right? Who have the constitutional right to speak. We can't shut up us. We have to speak. We have to present the truth. And we're presenting the truth to everyone here on the AdieTalk Radio. Join us. We'll have many other programs. We're starting our political analyst program tomorrow. And I'm going to have, before we go, I'm going to have the analyst who is going to be here presenting to briefly introduce this show and tell us a little bit before we go. So, Robinson, take it on.
Thank you very much, Professor Jumbo. Political angle we're looking at, talking about governance, and basically shining a light on our bureaucratic structure for the world to see what Africa and African nations are doing to their people and the realities that are playing out in our political system.
Including not providing network for us that we cannot hear you. Yes.
Moving around governance and politics. So hopefully on the people's mandate will open.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Everything we talk about is about us, the government, and what should be. A lot of Nigerians, a lot of Africans do not understand governance. And this is the way the governments have created it to shield reality from the people. So we hope to see light on that. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Well, our co-host and our lawyer who is fighting really strong.
8 a.m. to 9 a.m. West African time, we'll be here.
Okay.
And for those around the globe, you can also join us. Tune in.
Okay.
AdieTalk Radio, where we take voice in your issues around the world.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. Hopefully they will give us a good network so that we can hear you. All right. Anyhow, I just want to say again, thank you. Thank you for our listeners for being patient with us. That we started in a rocky start, but we made it through, right? Even though the network tried to shut us up, you can see that no forces can stop us. You got to move forward, all right? And we must release and free Henry Okah, all right? All right, thank you so much. This is the Awareness 360 on the AdieTalk Radio. And continue to listen to the AdieTalk Radio. We are here 24/7. Again, our toll-free number is +1 800 655 0733. You can also join us on WhatsApp +1 914 702 9436. Stay tuned. Thank you and goodbye.